Welcome YouTube, this is Acid Rootz. I've got a Godhead review for you. So if you're wondering who this group is, it was the only signed act to Marilyn Manson's post-human records. Now Manson was on a particular high between the years of like 1996 to 2002, and a lot of the stuff he did was having influence. So really, there were 2 albums that released on this record label. It's a shame that it was as short-lived as it was, but around late 2000, early 2001, when he was reaching some real high points, we got the first co-sign from Manson, which was Godhead. Now, with this album, I looked up information on it. It did not really have any charting singles from this project. It did release them. I'm not sure. There were 3 is what I was trying to say. 3 singles. I'm not sure if there were music videos, but they did have at least some songs that might have got minor airplay. The album sold over 100,000 copies, and basically that's still, I mean, in the form of what, really happens, that's still a lot better than several folks out. It's not stupendous, but I do have respect for what Manson was trying to do. So the idea behind it is this is basically on the same branch from the Marilyn Manson tree, and that's a really good feeling, just because the sort of stuff, if you were wanting something similar to the album Hollywood, this is pretty much a cousin of that album, and it has a lot of that feel. I also kind of get a little bit of orgy from it, and yeah, that about sums up what the feel of it goes, but it is pretty dominant. I definitely was surprised by this project. When I first listened to it, I was about to say, well, mainly just the most popular songs are the one to go for, but no, actually, there's quite a bit of this record that stands tall. The only problem with it is I just don't know how many people have heard of this record. That's really the only thing. I'm thinking you could probably get the record for cheap, but this issue is the overall popularity, so the social score will not be too high, but apart from that, I think everything else basically stands pretty tall. So if you're wondering what a few of the singles are, one of which is The Reckoning, which is going to be the first song that you hear. I think this is definitely good because, a lot of folks needed to hear the best song first. For, lesser known groups probably need to do that. There's a cover song of a Beatles song on here, and Marilyn Manson shows up on a song, and then pretty much the first half of the album is where a lot of the best songs are, but then I wound up liking 8 out of 11, so it really wasn't a terrible complaint, and that was what wound up. Yeah, so I'll talk about a few of these. I Cell Society has pretty good feel to it. I mean, that one was kind of a haunting song. Really sounded like something real moody, and kind of the shadiness really kicks in on there. I also feel like Inside You was another one. That's song number 3. Now, that one kind of reminded me of Dragula by Rob Zombie, just the approach to that song. I'm glad that they have the style enough to do this. So, apart from that, Marilyn Manson is on Break You Down. That was another standout. And The Reckoning is, of course, that one kind of feels like a techno song, but it's not bad. So I would give this album, well, first I'm gonna give this album a 9 out of 10. And the 8 songs that I enjoyed are The Reckoning, Break You Down, Eleanor Rigby, Sinking, Penetrate, I Sell Society, I Hate Today, and Inside You. Those are the immediate ones. So this album gets a 9 out of 10. But basically, the only weakness to it is just the fact that none of the singles charted. That's about the only weakness. I definitely feel, looking at more Marilyn Manson, if fans of rap are used to this sort of thing, artists putting on different artists. There's actually been some groups like Limp Bizkit who have done this, Finding Stained and Cold. And it just doesn't happen as much in rock. So it's always a welcome surprise when it does happen. The social score I will give a 3.5 out of 10 just because there were the singles, but they did not chart, and I was kind of looking for at least a few songs. And plus, this is the only album underneath Marilyn Manson's record label. So after this album, the album dissolved in like 2002, and they didn't work with Manson again. So that's the other weakness. If you're looking for a more vital and more refreshing version of this, it's not there. This is the latest that they've done together. And so the future, they have dropped albums. I mean, obviously, if you want to continue messing with this group, they do have more records. So can this record be topped? I think the answer is actually probably not. So yeah, this is definitely a surprise here.